This Sunday, CBSN Originals will premiere another episode of its documentary series, Reverb. Losing Las Vegas reveals the lingering impacts of the COVID-19 shutdown in a city many economists say will be one of the last to recover.
The COVID economic shutdown hit Las Vegas harder than any other major city in the nation.
So when the Strip shuts down, much of the economy surrounding it shuts down.
Yeah, that's right.
And the ripple effects devastated households far off the famous Strip.
We were doing pallets of cookies in bulk, specialty grocery stores, hotel, casinos. We had this going.
We went 17 weeks without a dime. And there are still thousands upon thousands of people still have not been paid. And I see every day people losing their homes, having to leave Las Vegas.
Though the lights are flickering once again, uncertainty looms.
We're trying to keep things as normal for our kids. I have a 16-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son.
And Americans are adapting to a cruel new reality with no end in sight.
Do they know that there's a possibility that we might have to leave this house? No. I don't really think I have the strength to tell them that.
So I couldn't even ask you where you might be a month from now.
My hope is that we'll still be here.
And joining us with a preview of Sunday's premiere is CBSN Originals correspondent and executive producer Adam Yamaguchi. Adam, great to have you with us. So why has the pandemic hit Las Vegas specifically so hard?
Well, the Las Vegas economy, as we all know, is driven almost entirely by the tourism leisure business. We're talking about major casinos that draw people from around the world and put them into confined spaces where they are entertained and they spend a lot of money. And of course, as we've seen in the COVID-19 response, the two things that you should not do right now are be in confined spaces and fly for long periods of time. So that has led to an immediate and sustained shutdown of this industry that is a vital cog in the larger Las Vegas industry. Again, the Strip is the core of the engine. It's the center of the engine, but there are whole, reverberating impact and effects that this has on the larger population. Las Vegas is a real city. There are tons of small businesses and operations that are there largely to support and sustain the Strip. So when Strip shuts down, a lot of those other peripheral businesses shut down, as well as the fact that Las Vegas is also Monday through Thursday is when you see a lot of businesses and business visitors, business travelers coming in for conventions and large meetings. Well, all that's been shut down as well. And again, that also has ripple effects across the economy.
And Adam, you spoke with Las Vegas residents who are really struggling right now. How are people staying afloat? Are they finding creative ways to do that?
Yeah, I think by and large, many people who are out of work are simply having to tighten their budgets. They're much more careful about where they're spending, what they need to spend on, as they work to try to eke out any savings that they can put towards their mortgages and their rents and all the essentials. But we followed over the course of a couple months a couple entertainers. Your sort of classic Vegas impersonators. We followed an Elvis and a Lady Gaga, who obviously their stage shows had been shuttered since March with no clear indication when they'll come back. Well, they've resorted to streaming their shows on social media platforms and inviting other impersonators who are also out of work to come perform for anywhere from a few dozen to a few hundred people who may be watching. And in turn, they may receive some donations. And of course, these entertainers are getting, a mere fraction of what they were getting when they were fully employed. But for some, it's just enough to get by.
And so what is Vegas's outlook, Adam? Is it totally tied to the coronavirus? Because as you know, we're seeing a second wave in a lot of places.
Yeah, unfortunately it is, and I think that its recovery will certainly lag any sunsetting of of the COVID pandemic. Obviously, vaccines and treatments will restore a lot of confidence and make it once again safe for people to get into those confined spaces and get onto airplanes and enjoy the full Vegas experience as it was meant to be. But the next few months, I think, are going to be very, very critical as we hear from scientists and epidemiologists. We may be in for a very dark winter. And where we come out and when we come out on the other side is really anybody's question. Vegas will recover at some point. It's seen these massive hits in the past. If you talk about the Great Recession of 2008, Vegas took an enormous hit. But what we're dealing with here is very different. And I think that we can safely say that Vegas will not be back to where it was prior to the pandemic well into 2021. Businesses are likely not going to bring conventions back in any real way. And tourists will start to trickle in. I mean, the Vegas economy right now is the Strip, I should say, is operating at probably around 50 to 60% of capacity, which is a far cry from where it was back in March when it was almost entirely shut down. But when will it get back to 90%, 100% is really anybody's guess at this point.
All right. Well, Adam Yamaguchi, thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, download the CBS News app on your phone or connected TV to watch Reverb: Losing Las Vegas on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBSN.